Welcome back to Brian's Art for Animals, one of YouTube's longest running animal channels. I thought it would be good for this video to talk a little bit about charity. Quickly, in the United States, it's said about 70 to 75% of people every year give to charity, which is good. Last year was a crazy year, 2020. Corporate giving was down, which kind of sucks, but individual giving was up, so that's great. I think in total, we give about over 400 billion to charities. Now, with that money, very little bit goes to animal causes. I think only about a third of it goes to animal causes. Now within that slice of pie, a lot of it goes to either animal rights groups, animal welfare groups, something like the Humane Society, which is a large organization, and then it trickles down to sometimes local shelters and stuff like that. Now a very small percentage of that income or that money given to animal charity, very little bit goes to animal conservation, which is helping out the animals in the wild. Now, I always promote supporting animal conservation, and we'll get into a few points why very soon. Now, of course, when you're supporting animal conservation, you can do it on your own. Write out the groups, check. World Wildlife Fund comes to mind. They're a huge organization. Of course, with huge organizations, not saying that they're bad, but they have more overhead. Those are the birds chirping in the background, so if you hear a chirp, that's those guys. So it's not to say it's bad to give to those groups because they're well known and heard of, but if you want more bang for your buck, you kind of streamline that and go to the groups that usually those larger groups kind of have under their umbrella. So then you can look into smaller conservation groups that if you donate, let's say $10, $20, they're going to be able to do a lot with that because they don't have a lot of the overhead. Unfortunately, with some charities, not just animal charities, but some charities, they are as low as about 20% actually goes to the cause. So you give them $1 and about 80 cents of that is going to administration costs, setting up events to get more money. It's a big machine. Charities become big machines, and unfortunately they're not always streamlined to give the most of what the people are contributing to take that and give it to the actual cause. So with the animal stuff, you always want to make sure you're supporting a good group. I use Charity Navigator. There's a few other organizations online. Obviously, it's really easy to do research that you can look up the cause that you're going to give. Now, I always mention to people when supporting a zoological facility that promotes conservation, make sure they are directly supporting conservation. This is the year that I'm making this, 2021. No longer can they talk and just say, well, we educate people and we show animals. No. It's 2021. If you have animals at your facility, you better be directly supporting wildlife conservation. It's now time. They need our help. You're using animals to get people to come to your facility and you get a living off of that, but you owe it to those animals to help out their wild friends, cousins, however you want to word it. The animal's still out there in the wild. A good way for that, in the zoo system here in America, the AZA zoos, they have to support conservation. Of course, every zookeeper that works at the AZA zoos want them to support even more than they do, but that's for admin to decide how much they give. But they do have to give out and support groups that are helping out wildlife conservation. Now, animal conservation. One thing I wish people would know about animal conservation, let's say because the majority of that charity cash is given to human efforts, is that behind every good wildlife animal conservation program, there is a huge human element to it. Whether, let's say, if it's something like Snow Leopard Trust, where you can buy things off of their store, which helps pay for the people who made it. Now, they get paid only if they promise to keep on protecting snow leopards. So it's an animal conservation group, but with a very human element to it. It's helping the people that live in the areas that snow leopards live in, and we're paying them to be good and not harm those snow leopards, because every once in a while the snow leopards would kill, let's say, one of their sheep, and that's their livestock, and that's their livelihood. And a lot of animal conservation groups also do like clean water projects. I'm very lucky here in America. I can go to my sink, turn it on, clean water comes out. I've even lived in a trailer with well water, and it's not great, but it's still a heck of a lot cleaner than what a lot of other people in parts of the world have. So it is hard for us to grasp, but a lot of people don't have a clean water source. So a lot of these animal conservation groups so that people understand that yes, we're protecting the animals, but as a reward for that, and as a reward for you, either you live inside the parks, national parks with the animals, or you live on the outskirts of the parks, and so they may come out and elephants may tromp your crops, or it's kind of weird to see a tiger walking through your neighborhood and all that, but you keep these animals safe and we'll help you. So they do a lot of clean water projects. Well, they build wells and stuff like that and way for these people to get a clean water source, which is good because clean water source means you're going to live a little healthier life. Another good thing that a lot of animal conservation groups do is give to training the women in the area either a skill, or they will send them to school. Schooling is very important. Years ago, I took part in a program that sent the local kids in Africa, in this park that I supported in Kenya, to school. So I paid for a young girl to go through grade school. But anyway, it's a worthwhile program. There's lots of programs like that we can help send people through school, and those programs are through the animal conservation. So those are just a few examples of how contributing to a wildlife animal group can actually in turn help out humans. So I've had this channel for about 12, 13 years now, and throughout those years, every once in a while we'll get emails like, hey, I really like this animal, how can I help? There are animal conservation groups out there helping pretty much every animal that you can think of. Of course, the most popular ones are lions, tigers, elephants, like I mentioned, snow leopards, jaguars, every animal out there. Now there's a lot of other ones like the red panda. There's ones that help out lots of species of birds and bats, snakes, amphibians. So every animal from big to small has somebody out there that's trying to help it. And that's the cool thing. We no longer are trying to set up programs. There's programs out there. There are field researchers and scientists and anti-poaching groups. Everything is pretty much set up, I'd say for the most part out there. They just need financial help. Because a lot of times the local areas or where they're at are poorer, or there's actually sometimes corruption in that. They can't always sustain themselves, so they do need outside help. So that's, and then it's at the ease nowadays, we can just online. Helping these groups way out there in Asia and Africa is easy as just a few clicks away. So it's very simple for us just to help them. And again, if you have any questions of any of these animal conservation groups or any animals that you really like and you're looking to find a conservation group that's really good in helping them, feel free to email and contact me here, or just leave it in the comments below. Thanks for watching.